3, 2, 1.
I pray to the four winds. And you? To prom? But I seldom pray to him. He doesn't listen. What good is he then? It's just as I've always said.
The music.
He's strong. If I die, I have to go before him. And he will ask me, what is the riddle of steel?
What is the riddle of
If I don't know
steel?
it, he will cast me out of Valhalla and laugh at me. That's Grum. Strong in his mountain. My God is greater. Grum laughs at the four winds. Laughs from his mountain. My God is stronger. He is the everlasting sky. Your God lives underneath him.
So that was the intro there. If you heard it properly, that was Arnie Schwarzenegger talking to a Mongolese lad in was it Conan the Barbarian?
It was, yeah, Conan, that was the first one.
This is, I think, episode 20 of the Hardy Books. Congratulations to me for actually fucking sticking at something. I'm joined with a very, very special mate of mine, Andy Wallace.
Hello.
Easy.
How's it going?
Andy, give yourself a bit of an intro. How do we know each other? What's the story here?
You playing a gig in Islington, the Forum. I remember we met there and just sort of hit it off.
2012.
That was 2012, yeah. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a Hardy Book show back in ye olden times. So since then, me and Andy have been mates since come to London and good times with Ed, good times with Zed. He's also, if you check out Maloney's Digest, my YouTube channel, you can see me, him and Reese also went to Reading a couple of years ago, and I made a video of it. It was a good laugh. Andy, does Crom laugh at your sky god?
Yeah, he's powerful in his mountain.
He is powerful. Crom and the Riddle of Steel. I mean,
I actually know what the Riddle of Steel. I haven't seen that film since I was a kid, but I can remember that flesh is stronger than steel or some shit like that.
Well, you know what? I think we'll get the ball rolling. This podcast there's no particular strand. You know what I mean? It's just me having a bit of a laugh talking
it's
about.
It's a bit of a letdown after John McAfee, like one of the most interesting men alive, and then just some bloke that you know the week after.
Well, don't sell yourself short. You know what I mean? You're Andy Wallace.
Yeah, it's true.
You grew up in the East End of London, home of Danny Dyer.
Well, on the outskirts, I say on the outskirts. Like E18, IG8.
So you went East 17, home of like Brian Harvey.
Yeah, what happened to him? He ran himself over, I think.
Yeah, I think he started investigating like high powerful nonsense in the music industry.
They got to him.
And I think they deplatformed him, and there's
made it look like an accident.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. But apparently he there's a video out there where he's got all his East 17 platinum records, and he goes, "It's what I think of E7. It's what I think of your music industry. See that?" And he just starts trashing his like gold platinum discs all over like an alleyway in some sort of like red brick terrace house like laneway, and he goes, "Anyway, and the music game was full of fucking nonsense." Fair play to him, yeah. He's actually Brian Harvey would be someone we should get on the podcast.
Oh, he'd be great. So what happened? He was getting something out of his boot, and then he hadn't put the handbrake on, and the car just came back, and he ran himself over in his own driveway.
Wasn't eating like a baked potato at the same time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then he managed to run over himself in a. It was like a Mercedes or a BMW X5 or something. But he did a video about it called German Whip, and at the end of it he plays himself eating a baked potato underneath...
was that him or was that a cover?
That was him doing a mistake of his own demise.
Oh, fucking hell.
But Brian Harvey, man, like back in the day, like he took a massive nosedive because I think he said something about like he'd taken about 15 pills at a party and they were grand, and then they just cut him loose then. And then Noel Gallagher came out. Oh, it was Noel or Liam Gallagher came out not long afterwards, and they were like, "Yeah, fucking." I mean, I think it was Liam was like, "Yeah, you know, like politicians taking with their tea. You know what I mean? They're fine." But because it was Oasis, it was like there was no shocking revelation to that because they were always in the tabloids anyway, and they owned it.
So Liam said that about the politicians.
Yeah, he was like, you know, people like fucking politicians are having pills with their tea.
He went to he was friends with Tony Blair, and he went to the Downing Street. Was that him? One of them got invited when Blair was, popular and everyone loved Blair before he was
Blair?
a war criminal. Not Blair.
Oh yeah, but I wasn't. I think Noel Gallagher was pretty impressed with Tony Blair. Back before the whole 9/11 fiasco and the invasion of the Middle East under false pretenses. Yeah, it was like New Labour, but really just more neoliberalist bollocks.
Who's your favourite, Oasis or Blair?
Crom will decide which one is my favourite. If I like soft, floppy-haired bass player, or do I like Bonehead? Crom will drive me to the decision. If I don't make my mind up, it is time for me to be kicked out of Valhalla for failing the riddle of steel. Are we going to talk about Arnie, man, first of all?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, let's do that.
Growing up, man, Arnie was just like, he was the bee's knees. He was the Chung Wit. He was the fucking Shania Twain of hard man action movies.
But you don't remember consciously liking him. He's just, when he's on screen, you watch, and you don't think, oh, I really like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You just see, like, he was in the best films.
He was the archetypal hard man.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he was like a natural kind of... You'd see him and you'd just believe that, this guy could kick the shit out of anyone. Even though when you see him jumping around as Quaid in Total Recall, there's a scene where they're about, they go to the mine and they're trying to unlock the open your mind, that thing where
Quado.
That kind of that stone that he has to touch in order to...
The reactor.
The reactor, yeah. So when he's in there, he's like, you think this is the real me? It is. And then he just hops from like casually killing some henchmen, and he just like... He's so awkward looking.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like watching a fridge like do a ballerina move.
When he's the gunfight on the escalator and they just fucking spray each other with Uzis, and Arnie uses a guy as a body shield, and then he tosses him on the floor, and like there's a scene where they're running past him, and it's like one foot just goes in his back, and it's like a squelch. There was no need for that squelch, and the foot goes up.
Yeah, it was just like that's classic Paul Verhoeven, isn't it? It was just like, yes, I'm going to throw this in just to show that the guy actually they didn't care about his body being on the top of the escalator, so they just jumped on him. There's the commentary as well, the DVD commentary that came with Total Recall was brilliant as well. There's like you see the Pegasus for Columbia TriStar, the winged horse running towards the camera, and it's just like, hi, this is me, Arnold Schwarzenegger, running towards the camera. And this is me, Paul Verhoeven. I'm the director of Total Recall, and you can tell the two of them are probably having a few drinks while watching the movie. And there's a bit with Sharon Stone. Ooh, she was very nice. When she was in the kind of sex scene at the beginning. And he goes, yes, this was one of my favourite bits of the film. And then Verhoeven was like, yes, I remember we had to go down to Mexico and we rented the hotel room, and Arnold and Sharon, they went over their lines and practiced this scene. I was like, I fucking bet they did.
Do you reckon he
took her to level 22, the next chapter, featuring Dick and Fanny?
You think this is my dick?
It is. Am I circumcised? Let that be known by Crom. He will crush your enemies and see the lamentation of the women.
He got to know the pleasures of Sharon Stone.
Yeah, I wish I got to know the pleasures of Sharon Stone back in the day.
What's the state of her now, do we know?
She's like old-fashioned enough, like, but I think she was quite tall, man. I think she's like 6 foot. She's like 6 foot or something, or did I just make that up?
I don't know.
Sigourney Weaver's my height.
She?
6'1", man.
She was... Yeah, I'd say she was...
It's funny.
6 something.
My sister Trisha, she used to always wind up my brother-in-law Henry by making up like fake facts about actors. And one day she got him brilliantly with, the first one was her real name was actually Sigourney Beaver, but she changed it to Weaver, and he was like, really? And he believed that. But the funniest was she said Russell Crowe is called Russell Crowe because he came from a place in New Zealand called Crow's Foot.
I love that, just spreading lies and misinformation. Like.
Oh man, or as Stephen French from Liverpool, the gangster, would say, subterfuge and misdirection, to me oldest allies. Oh, it's a lovely motor. The 740, it's a real workhorse, Danny. I always wear a suit and tie. I always wear a suit and tie. Yeah, so where are we? We're talking Arnie.
So Total Recall. What's next?
Total Recall. Predator, man, is if it bleeds, we can kill it. What's good, Billy? So spooked. Something out there past those trees. Yeah, for me, that was... Growing up as a kid, my favourite films were Aliens and Predator, and they managed to completely fuck up the two franchises. I mean, how do you do that?
It's unforgivable. I always preferred the second Predator, I must say, to the first one.
Well, Bill Paxton.
Yeah, it had all like the Rastas in it and
King Willie and the Voodoo Boys.
Yeah, all the coked up Hispanic guys.
The Colombian. It was just so intense. Do you know what I mean? It was just who directed that?
Don't know.
Because it was just so high paced. It was like fucking voodoo magic man, and then they're like, you know, they're sacrificing the Colombian dude in the beginning.
Yeah, it was relentless.
Yeah, it was just fucking like, and that. I mean, like I think I was about fucking 8 or 9 when I first watched it. I mean, like, it's mental.
Yeah.
Like I was watching something like that.
That's just 80s parenting though. Where are your kids? I don't know. Left them watching RoboCop.
Yeah, RoboCop again, another Paul Verhoeven film.
Yeah. That would be probably my favourite of all the whole. That and Terminator 2, I think.
I was talking to someone the other day. Kevin McGahan. I was talking to him on the Wednesday night, and he was saying that Frank Miller wrote RoboCop 2.
Oh, way.
Yeah, Frank Miller, the guy who did.
He didn't direct that Paul Verhoeven though, did he? Was that directed by him?
I don't know, to be honest with you. It's great. Like talking about, like, there's something about magical about like 80s.
There was something.
Sci-fi,
it was imaginative.
Yeah,
we can't imagine films like that anymore. People just, I don't know.
They're just rehashes, and they do shit versions. I look at the fucking Total Recall remake. What the total flop should have been called. Do you know what I mean?
Colin Farrell.
Total shove it up your ass, mate.
People will go see it just because it's called Total Recall. You know what I mean?
I fucking went to see it.
Yeah, so did I actually.
Yeah, and it was like
we're worse for
Cranston.
going to watch it. You know, we should fucking.
There was a while there where they just were like, we'll stick Bryan Cranston into it and people will watch it.
Yeah.
You know, fair play to Bryan Cranston. He seems like a sound dude. Like,
he's alright. I like him in Malcolm in the Middle. He's a good comic actor.
Yeah, Malcolm in the Middle started off very funny, and then he just focused too much on Dewey and that fat lad with the glasses, and I was like, mate, I wouldn't like that fat lad with glasses too close to my son, man. Do you know what I mean?
What do you think, he's a toucher?
You wouldn't fucking know, man. Especially in Hollywood. The place is fucking crawling with bad boys who just want your ass. Do you know?
Alright, so what was it? Where were we? Terminator, RoboCop, Predator,
Aliens as well. James Cameron, Ridley Scott.
Oh, that's got to be, actually. I've changed my mind. That's number 1 for me.
Alien Special Edition.
Yeah, I could never. No matter how many times I watch it, I can still watch it over and over and over again.
Yeah, I must watch it again. That bit where like, how do they know, man? They're fucking animals, man. We're fucked, man. You know.
Isn't Bill Paxton the only person who got killed by an alien, a RoboCop, and a Terminator?
That's
I think there might be one other person.
It was Lance
Bishop.
Henriksen.
Is that him? Is that the guy's name?
Yeah, Bishop.
Yeah.
I met him once. He was on the way back from that. He's always at that Stockholm Sci-Fi Festival, and Steven Seagal is there this year. With Michael Madsen. But Steven Seagal, man, like the Mojo Priest. Did you ever see him playing guitar?
Yeah.
Voodoo chicken! Voodoo chicken!
It's just bizarre what's happened to the man.
He's a fucking parody of himself, man. Like, he plays his whole angle of when he's playing the guitar is he just uses his thumb. Like, he's just like, he just uses one thumb. He doesn't pick with any of that. He doesn't use the plectrum. He just picks away with his thumb.
Just economics of effort. That's the Aikido way.
It's the Aikido way, yeah. It's the path of least resistance.
Did you ever watch Lawman, where he goes around? It's like it's like cops. It's like real, and he's going around arresting lads with like.
Yeah, he's a sheriff as well.
Yeah, he's been like deputised.
I can't remember who it was, but I met a couple of lads, Irish lads, about 8 years ago, and they said they were driving through whatever state, I don't know if it was Illinois or somewhere, and they got stopped and
by Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal was
Shut
like,
up, really?
"You guys are driving a little bit fast back there," and they're like, "Are you Steven Seagal, man?" "That's right.
I'll be asking the questions."
Crom laughs at your sky god. But Steven Seagal, I never really liked his movies, man. It was just like everyone. It was that classic 80s, 90s. A gang of lads kicking off on one guy, but everyone like has the decency and respect to go one-on-one. Whereas in a real life situation, you'd have about 4 or 5 lads jump at you at once, and someone would like try and hit you over the head with a pool cue.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's like,
I suppose no one watched action films if it was just everyone was getting a hiding.
Yeah, exactly.
There's real petrol shop DVDs, like, you know.
Yeah. Like, we were talking earlier on, and we had a look at this trailer. It was called Free Jack, and it was made in 1992. It's got Anthony Hopkins, Mick Jagger, and Emilio Estevez.
I can't believe that exists. Like, It's one of the ones, if you told me about it, I wouldn't have believed you. Like, Mick Jagger and Emilio Estevez. It
looks so dated, man. I mean, like just the whole style. I mean, it just looks like something I would love to take the style and just start making my own kind of like early 90s style trailers. But
it looks like a parody. But then go back to Aliens. It's like it just looks like it was made. It could have been made yesterday. That film, just the way there's no CGI, anything like that. It just looks. It's just timeless.
Yeah, you see the CGI fuck things up. I mean, a lot of people are going to go, how can he say this? I wasn't a fan of Mad Max Fury Road, man. I thought there was way too much of that. You compare it to The Road Warrior, and it was all stunts and
it's stunt porn. I liked it. I didn't see it in the cinema. I saw it on DVD, but I think if you saw it in the cinema in a 3D.
Oh, you're on about the Thunder Road?
Fury Road. Is that Fury what you were talking about?
No, I was talking about like you compare that to Mad Max 2.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's fucking night and day, man. I mean, the brilliant thing about Mad Max 2 was the fact that it's pure analog. You're filming on location in a desert and it's stunts and there's no CGI. It's just, and because it's a post-apocalyptic wasteland in terms of whatever, it was just humanity. There was no kind of like supernatural elements to it.
Yeah.
So it was just a bunch of fucking lunatics in the desert.
Well, that's what indie filmmakers do. They look at their resources, like, what have I got? Well, I've got some cars and a desert, a couple of grand.
Well, I got, when we went, me and Mike, my brother-in-law, we were supposed to be doing a second Howdy Bucks movie at that time in Australia, and we went to this place called Silverton where it's filmed. And there was a guy there called Adrian, from Bradford, and he's like, I moved over, I've been mad into Mad Max since I was a kid. So I just moved here to Silverton and opened up a Mad Max museum. And I was like, yeah, and how are the locals finding it? And he's like, locals, man.
I think it's weird.
They're like, yeah, you'd think, I'm bringing a bit of business to the town, like, you'd think that they'd have a bit of appreciation, like, they give me a bit of a hand, but like, no, just don't get involved. But like, he's got the original Ford Interceptor, he's got all of the pictures and the costumes, and then you go down, and like, the names of, those guys with the police helmets on, they're called like Gay Boy Berserkers, and there's other lads called Smegma Crazies. They're just like, there's just such a weird kinky like gay vibe to all of the henchmen.
Yeah, there was an undercurrent.
The Golden Youth, like Vernon Wells, who also played Bennett. They'd have some Steam Bennett in Commando.
There was a homoerotic undertone to the Mad Max movies, all the leather and the bikes and the that kind of stuff.
It was like Burning Man on fucking
so
adrenochrome.
He just got the idea into his head to open up a Mad Max museum.
Yeah, just moved from.
He had a vision and he executed it.
And he stuck with it, man. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine relocating from Bradford, taking your whole family, and man, it's in the desert.
Having to tell your family that's what you're doing. Like,
yeah. And it's a small enough place. I mean, it's interesting. It's like, fair play to him. Like, he's opened it up, and he gets a fair bit of tourism. Then you go down to the pub as well, the Silverton Arms, and you see all the pictures of them. Because apparently that pub is where they did like Crocodile Dundee, and then you go into Broken Hill, which is like one of the biggest mining towns in Australia, and that's where they shot like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, and loads of Australian movies were shot there. So they have some sort of.
You forget how many films came out of Australia in the 80s.
Yeah. Crocodile Dundee, mate.
That's the bar where he's from.
Yeah, but like that's mostly the locations were, I think, up in Darwin or something as well. But yeah, it was pretty cool to see that. You see like the three peaks where when they're looking down on the compound, he's got the binoculars.
Yeah,
you can see those little peaks. They're just like three little mountains, and that's it. Like, they're so weird when you're out there in the middle of the outback. Like, we went to visit this place called the Silverton Silver Mine, and like the conditions these poor bastards lived in was just mental. Like, yeah,
you see those reenactment towns. I saw one of them, like, the prospectors in America. I saw one of those towns, and it's just like, how the fuck could you just live in this heat?
Well, you had a pretty interesting couple of. We'll talk about that time when you got tied to the chair on the plane. Because I think that's a fucking great story.
Oh, Ambien. Yeah. I took a friend of mine gave me something to sleep on the plane as I was flying.
Well, tell us what you were doing in your like big American trip, man. Cause
we road trip around the States.
Set the scene. Who were you with?
Set the scene. I was with my ex-girlfriend. We flew to Texas, rented a car and drove out to Marfa, Texas. Really strange town. It was it's a place with the Prada store in the desert, and it's like an art installation that looks like a Prada shop. You can't go in there. It's fucking daft, really, but like. It's where all the arty kind of young people go, and it's all art galleries and saloon bars and that kind of vibe. Really interesting place. Highly recommend Marfa, Texas to anyone who's not been.
Yeah. And
then we were there, and then we flew to Vegas, and then we sort of did the trip all the way down to LA. We drove down from Vegas to LA, Pacific Coast Highway. It was Austin's the best place though. I've never been in the States.
I've heard good things about Austin actually. Good things. They basically, it's kind of built into the fauna or the flora of the city. Like there's trees and all that, just like twisty trees growing out of street corners, and they kind of build around the trees.
Yeah. It's a cool kind of. It's weird for Texas. You don't imagine it being a place that's kind of cool and hippie and left wing and far out, but it is. It's out of place in its own state, I think.
Don't they have a lot of really good music and IPA beer?
They got a lot of beer. There's a lot of the South by South. Is that in Texas? South by Southwest.
South by Southwest.
I've never been. I'd like to go to that.
Full of fucking just arseholes nowadays.
Just top knots and
just people who work as acquisition merchants for like labels. I was working in Lollapalooza there last year, and there's like
where's that?
It was in Stockholm, and I got a really handy job driving golf buggies and picking people up from like the VIP area, and it was good crack. You'd be picking up like lads who are the heads of Lollapalooza, and they're like, yeah, we run Lollapalooza, yeah, we're over from Texas, we're based in Texas, yeah. Oh, this is great.
The golf buggies are in, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And of course, like my job was, we were working in the VIP bar. I was only doing that like to take over from my mate Jono, who was he was given that, but I was given Donatella Versace's daughter, just giving them a drink, and I was like, so what's your name, love? No, I can't actually.
It's not a hard one to forget. Like.
Yeah, her name begins with A, but and her dad, Versace's ex, but I didn't have a clue who they were, and there's a dude just following them around wearing like a really swish suit, and he was driving a Maybach, and they were just like picking them up, and I was like, what you having, love? Do you want a beer? She's like, yeah, I'll have a beer. I was like, and then the young man goes, do you know who that is? I'm like, no, I've not a clue. He goes, yeah, she's the heiress of Versace. And I was like, ooh, well, fancy that. But that night, Foo Fighters were playing. Right. I went to go and see the Foo Fighters, and there was this fucking girl called Emily, and she was an asshole, man. She was just, apparently she'd made a girl cry on the first day over some fucking petty bullshit, and the girl was just like, fuck this, I didn't come back. And later on, like, we were driving these golf buggies, and we were getting well lushed up as well, so we were having good times. And mate Greg was like, yeah, man, you can go and watch the show, mate. I'll take care of the bar. So like there was this French guy called Peter, and the fuck, like, these wristbands were like $2,000, and your man had snaffled a few of them. But
I see, if the box is there, you might as well just grab a handful. I've seen it done.
Yeah, but it was. But I ended up fucking getting into this VIP area while I was supposed to be working, and it was like
Dave Grohl there.
No, but it was actually, I nearly met Dave Grohl, and but I didn't have the like, I had the access all areas thing, but I didn't have the like, there's another one above that. So I was just walking in accidentally because I had the head down. I was on the phone, and I looked up, and I seen Dave Grohl, and I thought it was my mate Danny Riley. And I was like, fucking hell, Danny. I was like, fucking Dave Grohl, man. And then this like Swedish like cyborg dude just was like, you don't have a pass. I'm like, yeah, but fucking Dave Grohl's there, man. Can we say hello? No. I was like, you fucking jobs worthy. But all the other lads met him afterwards, and like, your man Greg was like, yeah, now Dave used to do catering. Yeah, Dave's fucking sound. But yeah, so I ended up going in and watching the show and having a beer in this platinum place, and your one Emily takes a picture of me and then sends it to my boss. So like the next day, everyone's like, oh, Martin, you're really in trouble for what you did yesterday.
What?
Not only, yeah, because like,
what a fucking snitch.
Yeah, proper snitch, man. Proper snitch. So she actually took a picture of me and sent it to
Who does that?
some fucking jobs-worthy arsehole, that's who. So fuck her and the horse she rode in on.
Emily what? Let's put her on blast, as they say.
Yeah, I can't remember her second name.
Dox this girl.
Yeah, but you know what, man? Like, if that's the way she's living her life, that's
you
on
just got
her.
to pity people like that. Like,
yeah.
You're just going to find yourself very fucking alone. And
But you do see, I mean, you meet these jobs-worthies that they just fucking, they want to brown nose authority. But yeah, she was just really rude. Like, when I heard how like rude she was to that other girl, it was just, and like all the other women who were working there and like in that same platinum thing, they were like, yeah, she's awful. Like, no one liked that. But good luck to her. I hope she changes her ways.
Who else do we hate? Think about a podcast. You just use it as an excuse to just shit talk everybody you don't like.
See, Ireland's too small for that as well. You can't.
Yeah, I'm slowly learning that because for people that don't know, I've been sort of moving over here, and it's from London it's very difficult. In London you can just disgrace yourself anywhere, and you never have to go back in that pub again because it's that big.
And your parents are living down Wexford.
Yeah, Wexford way. So you have to get careful what you do, what you say, because people remember.
Yeah, because people. I remember driving through Florida about 6-7 years ago, and I just listened to this talk radio station, and there's lads just trash talking each other. I can't remember who it was. It was like some like local enough comedian, and he was talking about another comedian. Go, that guy's an asshole, man. I have no fucking time for that guy. He's a piece of shit. And I'm like, why is it? Like, Howard Stern's a great man for like getting people to like voice their beef.
Yeah. I've never listened to the Howard Stern show, but
you see clips every now and again.
Is it a podcast now? Is it like a Joe Rogan job or?
Well, I mean, he's doing a radio show, so he can probably just turn it into a podcast and cut the chaff out of it and just. But he's a great man for like. So you got beef. We got Beetlejuice in here, and there's this black lad called Beetlejuice.
Yeah, he's got something wrong with him.
He's got problems.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Exploiting the man.
Exploiting a guy who's obviously not the full ticket. And George Takei.
Yeah, George Takei. Yeah, he's another one. What happened to him, man?
George Takei, Howard Stern, a guy with learning difficulties.
Who, George Takei?
Yeah, he's on the Howard Stern show.
Isn't Zulu from Star Trek?
Yeah, he's like a regular on it, I'm pretty sure.
And what does he do when he's on there?
They just chat about stuff.
There's a scene in from I'm a Celebrity years ago where Ant and Dec, they're like doing the Bush Tucker trial.
Right.
And George Takei is eating a kangaroo penis.
Yeah. But what was his trial?
So he's eating this kangaroo penis, and I think Dad goes, "How was it, George?" And he goes, rubbery." So like,
shit.
Two of them cracked up because it sounded like a Chinese person saying "lovely."
Oh man.
But yeah, would you ever go on like reality TV?
I don't know.
I wouldn't advise it, mate.
I think.
Would you go on to Love Island and just be like non-buff?
What's the skating one? No, the dancing one. What's the dancing one? Come Dance With Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could dance my way into the nation's hearts, I think.
You could?
Yeah, definitely.
Dance the night away, man. Just want to dance the night away with Andy Wallace.
Yeah.
You hear about a lot of these like these dance shows where like the contestants end up having a thing with the dancing coach.
Yeah. Or maybe is that something they just put in the media to sort of give a bit of intrigue?
Yeah.
Oh no, because they had to quit. They had to leave, didn't they? The fucking comedian who's not funny. What's his name? The guy, London guy. He was shagging his dance instructor, and they had to go until it all came out. He had a missus. Yeah. She had a boyfriend, and it all came out. And they had to go on TV and perform after it being on the paper.
Was the man Jack Whitehall?
No, it wasn't him. What, the posh guy?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't him.
What do you think of Jack Whitehall?
Oh, he's a tosser. Literally, he's migraine made flesh.
I mean, like, he's just one of those lads who was like, he didn't have to get into it, but he was just like, okay, my parents are loaded and they're well connected in the industry. I could probably fall back and be like a barrister or an architect. And he probably had about 3 different backup plans that would have all been lucrative avenues to go down. He was like, I think I want to be a stand-up comedian. And they're like, good for you. You follow your dreams because you can fall back on a myriad of options.
But people genuinely seem to like him. I don't get it. Maybe I don't know. I've never watched. I can't get past 5 minutes of him talking without turning it off. So he might be funny for all I know. I don't know.
What the fuck happened to Russell Howard, man? Because he's just preaching all this kind of woke bollocks. I mean, it's I've just seen some of the stuff he did recently. It was like some woke news or something, and it's not even comedy. It's like just platitudes to this new kind of safe fucking plastic wrap bubble world that people want to live in nowadays.
Yeah, no one really wants to take any risks because he's just there to make money at the end of the day. He's not there to actually fucking be funny. A
lot of people are kind of jumping on this bandwagon, but I like the way Dave Chappelle has just decided in his last special just to come up with as much offensive shit as possible.
Yeah. And the mental health bandwagon, people are actually talking about their problems. I don't get it. You're taking all the mystery out of life.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
actually find out what's wrong with you. Like, it's what's the point?
Yeah, you're just like, oh great, I'm fucking damaged goods.
Yeah. I like to think all my problems are because of booze, because one day I can just quit drinking and then just go, sorry, I did all that. It was because I was drinking.
Yeah, actually,
so
you probably can. I mean, I can definitely say
I can
most
blame
of
everything on it. Absolutely everything. It's not because I'm a cunt. If I quit drinking and then carry on being a cunt, I've got nothing to blame it on.
You're just terminally cuntish.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're, I mean, a lot of it is basically down to drink. I mean, a lot of people have really.
Last night, like, nice normal people trying to talk to me, and I'm just like, nice girls, and I'm just like, alright, you look like, just fucking idiot, talking chaos at like nice people.
Last night was good crack. We did a gig in Skerries, or I did a gig just by playing tunes and shouting some Hardy Bucks lines in the middle of it, which was great crack. Skerries, I gotta say, Skerries in North County Dublin, man, it was a great town. We're in the bus bar. Big shout out to the bus bar and Ollie's bar. I had some great chicken wings up there, so fair play, lads. Thanks for sorting me out. You're a good bunch of dudes. But that last night was great crack. But we ended up having to sleep in the hotel Mitsubishi Colt.
Yeah, it's not right, is it? 2 men in their 30s sleeping in a car.
Yeah, but you know what? Had to be done.
Yeah.
I don't know what we were expecting. Like, we just get a hotel or something. It's like, nah.
5 in the morning.
Yeah, it was a bit ambitious. You can't exactly just walk back to Dublin. It's about 40 kilometres away.
I wasn't going to drive, but I was telling everybody I was just to piss them off.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's fine.
I'm alright.
Don't do it!
No, I'm fine, honestly.
And I was like, it was the lad with the fucking 16 pints that did the damage. Do you remember those really... Like, I remember when I first moved over to Ireland... When I first came on holiday, actually, I remember seeing it in 1995. Just how like the way the Road Safety Authority would use the most shocking adverts to just hammer the message of destruction. And there was this video where it's like it starts off. It was like a guy in a Ford Escort, and he's taking a girl on a date, and it's like, I can see clearly now the rain is gone.
And
it's like,
up.
Yeah, good job, gotta stay alive, And as he's like trying to show off in front of the girlfriend, it's the tune's getting more intense. It's like, call me Mr. Right, call me Mr. Wrong, call me insane. And the next one, it's like the final one is, I'm on a highway to hell, but boom, boom. And then some like car pulls out and they crash and it's like, and then it's just got like dead people on the road and like a bottle of Fanta just spinning around, and then the woman is like, his date is just in tears, and he gets out of the car and he's looking at everybody. He's like, it must have been love, but it's over now.
Fucking bizarre.
Yeah, and then there was another one which was it was like there's like 4 people in the car and they're having a double date. And there's loads of kissing and good times going on. It's like body to body, funk to do it to me one more time. And next thing, there's a car crash, and the one lad who wasn't wearing a seatbelt was just flying around the car, and he's like nutting people, and they're like, doosh! And then 3 of them die, and they had like 2 voices. There was one for the Northern Irish one and one for the Irish one. So it was like 3 dead in this vehicle. The one without the seatbelt did the damage, and then the other one in Northern Ireland was like, 3 dead in this vehicle. One without the seatbelt did the damage.
So he died.
Yeah, so did you have any experiences of that?
Yeah, it's the one that always freaked me out is where the guy goes into the back of the headrest and like breaks his nose and he falls back and he's fine.
Yeah.
But the driver's dead.
It was his mum.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah,
actually, that was the one. That was the English one. I was only thinking about that the other day in the car because I was like, yeah, I haven't got my seatbelt on, so... oh no, it was actually my daughter didn't have the seatbelt on, and I was like, maybe she might come through like an elephant, like that old advert that was like, when you don't wear a seatbelt, it is the force of a 3-ton elephant running through the back of your chair. You will be crushed. So,
drink driving's got a really bad reputation, isn't it? I think the 70s and 80s people must have done it all the time.
Oh man, it was just par for the course back then. Yeah, I mean, like...
How do we get back there? No, I'm joking.
Well, I mean, what's the story with self-driving cars in the future? Does it mean you can hop in and get absolutely...
Weren't they racist? That's the problem. They kept they weren't stopping for certain ethnicities or something like that.
Who is this? The self-driving cars?
Yeah.
Well, where are they?
Yeah, California. I don't know.
Yeah.
People. I mean, Tesla's pretty much driving themselves. You get them on the motorway and you can you just switch it and they change lanes. They do whatever you want.
Really? Yeah.
You can fix them to the car in front, so it'll just keep its distance.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I'm saying this like I've driven one. I've never driven one, but
I've been a passenger in one, and it's really weird because they're silent.
Yeah.
But they're pound for pound, they are the fastest. I mean, like, it's weird because if you have a combustion engine, like you could be driving like a souped up, Ferrari or Lamborghini, but if you go up against like a Model S, like a regular spec Tesla. It just beats it all. Like, it beats the competition nearly all the time. Is it
the torque or something? The acceleration?
It's torque, yeah. Because isn't it like an exponential amount of energy that's released? Because when you're changing gears in the combustion engine, you're losing power because you're starting from the base revs. Okay. So I don't know, man. I kind of feel like there's something nice about the combustion engine. It's you feel like you're getting there's some combustion. There's something's. There's an explosive reaction that is ticking over the engine.
It's fucking metal, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
And
then you stick one of these like motors in it. It's like, yeah.
It's shit.
You're like, what happens if there's an EMP? Do you know what I mean? It's like, I always think of War of the Worlds of Tom Cruise. Why would you do that? You're a jerk.
That's incredibly rude.
That's incredible. I give you. Where this is a reference to when Tom Cruise. Back in Balls of Steel, wasn't it, that Channel 4 show?
Yeah.
And he's talking about War of the Worlds, and he's like, "It's a great film, it's funny, it's humorous, it's a lot of drama," and he just squirts him with a microphone full of water. He's like, "Ha ha ha!" And he laughs, and he goes, "Why would you do that? Why would you do that?" And the man just leaves and goes, "No." And he's using that.
Don't walk away.
Don't walk away. He's got that weird side. Like,
the training kicks in.
The training of like Scientology training.
Stare, like he's like, I watched that. I was like, I might come in useful. Maybe I'll get a few sides on it. He handled that situation. I'd have just gone, ha ha ha, and just walked away and then hated myself.
I don't know if I've already mentioned this on the podcast. If I have, skip through it. But years ago when I was coming back from Roskilde, and no, it wasn't Roskilde. It was a holiday. It was a road trip with Tordoff and our old friend Tommy Cox, God rest him, and a couple of other lads from Dublin. And I was coming from Hamburg. I was getting the bus to Stockholm, and before we got to the Danish border, the police had stopped us, and they said like the driver had gone over his hours and he wasn't allowed to drive the bus. So this German woman gets up and she just like commandeers the bus. She goes,
"No way.
Who here can speak German? Raise your hand." So a certain amount of people lift up their hands. Who here can speak Danish, Swedish, and finally English? Most people lifted up their hand for English. So she goes, "Okay, because of the majority of people here speak English, I will take this in English. Now, it seems we have a problem with the driver has gone over his hours and he is not allowed to drive. Is there anybody on the bus who is qualified to drive a heavy goods vehicle or a coach?" And like two guys raise their hands, and she goes, "Which one of you would like to volunteer to be the driver?" And one guy goes, "I'll do it."
What the fuck?
So your man just starts driving the coach, and off we go. And I was like,
sure though, like surely he's like.
They did it, man. The police let them off, and I said to her, "Wow, that was incredible." I said, "What do you do?" She goes, "I am a nun in the Church of Scientology." And I was like, "What?"
They have nuns?
Nuns, man. And I was like, "Yeah, but what else do you do?" "Oh, I'm a lawyer as well." I was like, "All right." And I was going through a hard time with my ex at the time. I was kind of fucking deeply heartbroken, and it was just, it had kind of ran its course, and I was going back. Like it was a defiant move for me at the time, because I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go off around Europe for 2 weeks, suck on that, and then the trip was over, and I was coming back, and I was going, fuck, tail between my legs and skint. And so this woman, like, she was really cool, Anna her name was, and she was like, "You look like you need to speak to someone, Martin. You don't look like you're having a very good time." I'm like, I'm not. I'm sure I'm the kind of fucking lad just spills me guts to anyone who listen. And she goes, "What you should do is you should get the Book of Dianetics. There's a place in Gamlestown in the old town. If you go in there, you will get the Book of Dianetics, and it will change your life forever." And I was like, "The book of Dianetics, yeah.
Yes, they get people at a low ebb, don't they? That's their MO.
My orgone levels
through the floor.
Through the floor, yeah. But and like, so I go back and anyway, me and Sarah, we got together again. I was like, that's grand now. And then she kept ringing me. She goes, Martin, did you go down to the Scientology office down? And I haven't got around to it yet. I just like didn't bother.
She's probably on commission. Like the more fucking, if you sign people up for that, and the courses they buy.
Years ago, man, like in 2007, me and Owen were coming back from Mayo, and we were walking past Abbey Street and had like a Scientology building, and it was like free stress test. And Collie was like, should we go in here for the stress test? And I was like, what? And he goes, it's a free stress test. And I went, do you even know what a stress test is? He's like, no, but it's free. And I'm like, but look, it's the fucking Scientology. And he was like, what? Scientology? I'm like, yeah, man. Like, you don't know about... And he goes, why? It's like a scientific thing. And I'm like, no. Pretty much, for all intents and purposes, a religious cult.
You thought you'd be bench pressing something.
Yeah, he thought like it'd be some sort of health thing, so... Needless to say, it's like that time in Peep Show where Jez and Superhands go into the...
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, and they go, this is a laugh, and they're like doing... What's the name of that test they did? What's the name of it? The stress test. It's like it's where they auditing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they're basically doing that, and he's crying, he's going, this is a good laugh.
Yeah, they're busking, they just want to get warm. So they go in there. Peep Show.
Yeah, Peep Show is good stuff, man. It's one of my favourite comedies of all time. What are your favourite comedies?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'd have to say, I mean, Peep Show's up there. Father Ted, Brass Eye and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Adam and Joe Show. Anything on Channel 4 really. It's like a stamp of quality on anything. And Hardy Bucks, obviously.
But there's nothing really coming out of... I mean, like, the Toast of London, have you watched that?
I don't like that.
Yeah,
Something about it.
I didn't get it, man. You know, it's like... you know, I mean, your man Matt Berry's fucking brilliant, but I didn't get what it was about.
Just quote unquote random.
Yeah, it felt like.
But I do like that kind of humour. Like Vic and Bob, they've got a new Vic and Bob's Big Night Out, a new series of that.
What was the one that Vic and Bob had where they're in like an apartment block, and Matt Berry's in that? That was hilarious.
Oh, yeah, I know the one you mean. That was very funny.
Nathan Barley was brilliant.
Yeah, again, Channel 4.
Like you can watch Nathan Barley today, and it still looks the same.
It was so pointy, but back then, I was living in Shoreditch around that time, and all the hipster pricks loved Nathan Barley. They thought it was hilarious. They just couldn't see that it was
about them.
Firmly taking aim at them. Yeah, it was strange, the strangest thing.
Geek Pie. Yeah, that was brilliant, man. Nathan Barley.
I've not watched that in a while. But it's so prophetic about a lot of things. I mean, I read an article about the number of things that Nathan Barley predicted, like phone apps was one of them, I think.
Really?
Yeah, it was. There's a lot of strange things that it kind of, it predicted.
I suppose in some way it was a bit like Jim Morrison predicting DJ culture. You know, he was like, years ago in an interview, he said, I can see it in the future that it won't be a band playing, it'll be one man and a machine, and people will go and see the man and the machine.
Jim Morrison, you say enough random shit on stage, the son of it, he has like monkeys and a typewriter.
Taxis from Africa, the Grand Hotel, he was drunk, going back, sleeping these insane hours, I'll never wake up in a good mood, I'm sick of these stinky boots. American Prayer was that poetry album, man, I just fucking listened to that all the time, me and Chris Dordoff and Stephen Kelly as well, the Cowboy Kelly. He was just like a massive Doors fan. Like he went over to Boston. He came back. We spoke about this before. He brought this pair of leather trousers, but they were like 4 sizes too big for him. So,
like baggy leather trousers.
Baggy leather trousers. Then like I remember, like Stephen Kelly was fucking brilliant crack, and he still is. But back in the day when we were like in our late teens, he was coming out of Campbell's pub and he was fucking locked, and we were all waiting to get a bus to Castle Bar, and he quoted Jim Morrison in the film, and he goes, I'm blind, like this, and just some fella goes, blind drunk, you cunt.
We had a guy in our student halls who snapped, like he went nuts, and he thought he was Jim Morrison. You know, before his family or anyone got involved at university, it was a bit like living with Jim Morrison for a few months. Like, he was like walking around his room with his shirt off and curly hair, sunglasses on. We're like, we're going down the uni pub, mate, if you want to come. And he's like, and if that fails, we can whip the horses' eyes and make them sleep and cry. All right, mate, well, if you fancy it, just give me a call later.
Whatever became of him?
I think the fucking men in white coats with the butterfly net came and got him.
Here come the butterfly net. Here come the men in white. Take you to the big house. Were you a fan of Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones as Men in Black?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it was the first one was alright.
Yeah.
2 and 3 were shite.
Fair enough. What about Independence Day? Did you like that back
No,
in the day?
I never liked that one.
No.
It was just, again, compare it to the films we had in the 80s, it was just a pale imitation of
Was
sci-fi.
it Robert Emmerich who did that?
Don't know who that is.
He's the dude who did like 2000 or The Day After Tomorrow and 2012.
But again, the CGI, you look at that nowadays, it just looks like it was done on a computer in the 90s.
Yeah, I remember Aliens Resurrection had an awful lot of that, like early, because when CGI started like becoming prevalent in movies.
Yeah.
And there's like a scene where they're underwater and they're being chased by the xenomorphs. And it just looks so fake.
Yeah. And
there's a bit where this Rasta-looking dude gets acid on his face and his face melts. It's almost like cartoon graphics, man.
Yeah.
But back to that Free Jack movie, we should watch that.
Free Jack, yeah, I'm up for that.
Yeah,
you
were talking about Highlander yesterday, how shite it looks.
Yeah, it's one of those, some films stand the test of time, some don't, and you don't know until you go back to them, and I don't think Highlander's a tough watch. It's got a Queen soundtrack, but it's just sword fighting shit.
Queen did a lot of soundtracks, like Flash Gordon as well.
I wonder why, they didn't need the money.
No, but they probably just were enthusiastic about it. But Toto did a lot of soundtracks to films as well. They did the Dune soundtrack.
Did they?
Yeah. And they were all session musicians.
I wasn't a Dune guy. Dune just made me appreciate Star Wars more. I'd sit down and watch Dune as a kid and think that it's not Star Wars. I want to watch Star Wars. I think Star Wars affected a lot of films at the time. Everything became, everyone was looking for the next Star Wars. I mean, I don't know whether Dune was before or
like
after, but
Battlestar Galactica and all that stuff came out.
Yeah, Starbuck and all that. Really good.
Starbuck? What was Starbuck?
The man from the A-Team, was his name, is it Dirk Benedict?
Oh yeah, that's right, yeah.
Starbuck.
Starbuck. Is that his name? Starbuck?
Yeah.
Here, fucking, hey, Starbuck.
Yeah, so as Battlestar Galactica was shit as well. They'd be flying around in space and they'd be like, turn left! And it's like, how do you turn left in space? Like,
strafe left. I mean, you're travelling through a vacuum.
Yeah.
What was the name of those robots that looked really menacing, but they were
pylons.
Pylons. Buff my pylon. Yeah, Cylons, man. And then they did the remake of it a couple of years ago. It was shite as well. What shows really annoy you, man? Is there anything you just go, that's fucking shit, man? I can't have any of that. Any what gets under you? What gets you goat?
What pisses me off?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Glee. I fucking hated Glee, man. I think.
Oh, that just didn't. I was dating a girl who was into that, and I was just like, I've got to just get. Do you want to be away from both of you?
Yeah, like I think Glee is responsible for just fucking turning people into soft shites, man. Do you know what I mean? It's like ba 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 ba. Just, do you know what I mean? Like, if you look at the people around the 90s, that was like 90s, early 2000s was kind of like it all went downhill after that. Then I think in terms of like everyone was on the same page, even though we were all digesting the same bollocks from mainstream TV. Everyone was kind of on the same. Everyone had like the same barometer of what was acceptable and what was funny. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, something to do with the advent of the internet started getting good. Everything fractured. In the 90s, everyone was sort of into the same stuff.
Yeah.
Or everyone was siloed into their own groups. I'm into this, you're into that. But with the internet and like communities and Reddit and YouTube, everything just kind of split out.
And Twitter, man, like I'm done with Twitter.
I've deleted it.
Yeah, it's fucking toxic.
It's just a toilet. It's like I'm just pissing myself off reading these fucking dickheads and their opinions.
Yeah, it's just full of people who just want to fucking give out about shit, and it's like any excuse. And I think it's like 180 characters. It's so easy to misinterpret people because when people reply to someone else, and you're in like a discussion, and then you're like, "Oh, you're talking to me." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's like, and then they reply to you getting pissed off at them, and you've accidentally misinterpreted them getting back to someone else. So it just fucking spirals and keeps going for days. It's like, and it's people, like if you had the same people sitting around a table, they would come. I think the majority of people, if you sit and you have like a discussion face to face around a table, and you might not agree on certain points, you have the natural rhythm of the conversation that you can kind of go, oh, I see what you mean now, because there's tone and inflection. Whereas if you're trying to do this shit in like, you're waiting for replies, and then you send a reply after someone has already replied, but it's kind of like gone before the other person had replied. It's a fucking mess.
Yeah, I mean,
what's the point of it?
It's kind of like what it's always been about. When you think about, we're old enough to remember the internet when it first came out, like 95. 94, 95.
Attila Vista.
And it was all just chat rooms and people shit talking each other.
Yeah.
That was the first thing he did when he sat down in front of the internet. What can I do with this? Okay, I can go in a chat room and just have a go at someone. I think Twitter's just a logical conclusion of that.
Well, do you remember, like, in the old days, you'd say, you don't use your real name, you don't use your real address when you're on the internet.
Yeah.
And then fucking Facebook came along and everyone was like, here's everything.
Yeah.
I'm here. Here's my location. This is my house. You know, and it's just like, even the Irish, man, because the Irish were always cute cunts. Like, it was like, don't be giving your information away. No, don't be telling the one across the road. No, don't be talking about. You know, you don't need to tell them.
But in real life, people here don't do that. People are very canny about the information they give.
Yeah, they are. But like with the internet, it's like, yeah, you might be canny face to face, but just go on. Like you get people who just add you, and you're like, oh, this fucker, and I have to add them because, you know, I don't want to upset the apple cart, and you know that they're just adding you just to look at your shit, just to be nosy.
Yeah, I mean, you must have had everybody from school trying to add you. Like.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, you're kind of thinking like, why do I want to have everyone from town on Facebook?
Yeah, it's bizarre.
You know, I mean, it's like the reason it started at the beginning was because this is what I do, and I've got like my mates, and then you meet, like, I'm a kind of a sentimental prick. Like, I meet someone on a night out who I get on with, and I'm like, oh man, you're on Facebook? Yeah, add us on Facebook, and then I forget who these people are. So I've like got about 2,000 odd people, and half of them I've forgotten about.
That's the thing about it, especially, I mean, the same as myself. We like a drink, and you ever gone through your phone book? Who the fuck are any of these?
I've got thousands and thousands of numbers on my phone. I'm like,
don't know.
And it's like, you know, Glenn Taxi, or, you know, Sheila Television, you know,
Dave Crossbow.
Yeah, fucking Brian,
Johnny Cactus.
Danny Fragile.
Danny Paradox.
Danny Paradox. Crystal Gale.
Oh, God.
So you enjoying the chat, Andy? Is it nice to be on the podcast?
Yeah, it's weird. It's my first podcast.
We're at 51 minutes, mate. We're doing all right.
All right. What's the usual length? Is it an hour?
We can wrap it up at an hour if you want. You know,
go as long as we want.
Because these people are probably listening, and you know what, podcast merchants. It's I'm really glad that, you know, I'm meeting a lot of people out and about now, and they're like, oh, I like the podcast, and people are really getting on it. Like, I know I'm not the most consistent, but like, I've got a lot of stuff going on at the moment, so it's kind of hard to keep it going as often as I'd like it. But
there's been some great people on. So John, what's his Eddie Bravo?
Eddie Bravo, yeah.
Great value, that geezer.
Like the thing is, like, I'd spent 5 days having to cut that together, because I'd said to him, we're going to do it over a thing called Squadcast. All you need is Chrome browser and a good set of headphones. And when I rang him, he had neither, and I was like, oh fuck, why am I going to do this? So I had to use this recorder and the phone to record the audio of him on FaceTime at full volume from the laptop, and it took fucking days and days to do. And then being pure ADHD, like this always happens to me. Like where Stephen Kelly got onto Castlebar, we'll be doing a gig in Castlebar on the 26th on Stephen's night. And classic ADHD, it was like I spent ages making this poster, and then I put December 28th. Like,
even the last
this is the last, and that's the same with the Eddie Bravo podcast. I forgot to put the final mix up. I'll get it fixed eventually, but yeah.
It happens to the best of them.
It does.
The professionals.
If I get this out on time, I'm going to be in the Bill Murray in London on Sunday at 5:30. If you fancy coming down to that, that'll be good crack. It's a comedy show, it'll be about an hour long of me doing comedy and whatnot. But what's next for you, Andy?
I'm going to start a podcast. It's a shame I haven't started it already. I could plug it on this one, but I haven't got a name for it. Once I have a name, I'll have a Chromecast, maybe.
Chromecast.
Good. Chromecast.
Chromecast. Well, yeah, like, all you guys, all you motherfuckers out there in podcast land, you can get on, like, Patreon. You know, throw us a few quid on that if you like what we do, and tell your friends, and, you know, then I have more resources to spend more time doing them, and basically giving you better quality shit. But like, if you have any ideas, like if you want to get in touch with Andy, you know, or you have any ideas for other guests, get onto us. But I think it'd be cool to get you. I'll give you a boost. But,
yeah, I mean, I'm not on any social. I've deleted all my social media now.
I don't fucking blame you, man. I mean, social media. What's the point?
It was just a time thing. Reddit and WhatsApp are the only ones I use. Like, why? I don't know. WhatsApp's fine. I'm okay with that, spending time on that. But just listening to the opinions of people I don't know, and you know, you're ignoring your fucking loved ones to listen to the opinions of dickheads.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the amount of time, like, I'm just fucking looking at... What I don't get is everyone's an expert nowadays.
Yeah. There's no... Yeah.
Because in the old days, to get into a position of being a public figure, you had to at least pass some quality control.
Yeah.
You had to have some sort of, you know, credibility behind you or some training. But now anyone can just... Anyone just becomes a talking head.
Yeah, scientists and people, you know, they've spent their entire life studying a subject, and now people are like, bullshit!
Yeah. Anyway.
Vaccines don't work. Earth's flat. Fuck you.
Mm.
It was so funny when Eddie Bravo said, "Are you married to the globe?" And I was on a bus at the time, and I was like, "What's he going to say here? Is he going to be diplomatic?" He's like, "I'm open-minded." I was like, "Ah!" What do you say to that? You know, are you married to the globe? I had no idea what he was on about.
Well, he's a very intelligent guy, Eddie Bravo.
Yeah, you can tell.
I mean, like, jiu-jitsu is like, to be able to think when you're doing jiu-jitsu, like, to create your own style completely based off a pre-existing style of grappling, and then open a global franchise. I mean, he's a fucking smart dude, man.
So that's what he
and
wants.
he's sound. He's a really nice guy.
He's got his own sort of brand of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, 10th Planet, and there's one in Carlo here, and there's one in Cockney Station down the road. But yeah, man, I mean, like, he's a really cool dude.
I did a few lessons. It's a lot of fun. I didn't realise I had the build for jiu-jitsu because I'm a tall, lanky.
Well, you got long legs as well.
That's it. Like, that's the guy said to me. They're Polish guys. So like, you know, you could.
For me, I've got kind of like medium-sized, stocky legs, so it's kind of.
You're more about the power though. The taking them down.
The power, yeah. The takedowns are tough, man. It's so sequential, the way you know, everything is done. It's all about the timing and the execution of a move, and there's a lot of stuff to have in mind. I think it's a very, very technical. It's very much like chess. I mean, like you're trying to like set people up to fail by as Stephen French would say, subterfuge and misdirection. You know what I mean?
It's like chess in that I'm shit at it, and I don't really get it.
Just don't have the patience for
thinking
thinking ahead.
Who thinks? We don't think anymore. It's coming up to 2020. The decade's over. Thinking's done. Now we just react.
Now algorithms think for us.
Yeah.
Now we just react. Yeah. We just react with the first sentiment that comes.
The first thing that comes into your head, you do it.
I remember Big Mick who played, Eugene who plays Big Mick, my uncle. He always said, "No, Martin, I always my way of operating now was always I used to, as a fella says, engage brain before opening mouth."
That's wise words.
Yeah, I watched a TED talk with a guy. Someone had sent me the other day. I think he was from Texas. I can't remember the name of the TED talk, but basically it was like how to get over anything or something like this. And the guy was saying that the mind is basically broken into three types of mind. One of the minds is kind of like what you think is going to happen based on your past experiences. The other one is like I'm probably butchering it, but I'm not even going to go into this. But you have three minds. You have like your mind, which it's based on past experiences. The other mind is basically something that you predict based on your other experiences, and the other one is kind of like the real-time analysis of your thoughts and feelings. But he was basically saying, look, if you're going to be talking to someone, I know you have something like important to say, like it's about basic honesty. But he's saying that, like, first of all, if you're gonna engage in dialogue, and it's like a tricky thing to do, let your mind take in and know. It's about noticing instead of thinking, is what he was basically saying. So he's saying, take stock of the world around you. Like, we're sitting in this room, what's here? So basically, if you're like, okay, there's a coffee table there and there's some bits and pieces, you know your surrounding. Then how do I feel? What am I feeling now? I feel okay, you know. And then you hit them with the thought. So by addressing your surroundings, then addressing your body, you've already kind of like cleared space in your head to then discuss the topic that's on your mind.
Pack of Space Raiders, please.
Space Raiders, pickled onion or spicy.
Then you grab them by the arm and go, don't walk away.
Don't look at you're a jerk.
Incredibly rude.
Favourite corn snacks, Andy? Favourite corn snacks?
Chipsticks, Space Raiders, Bacon Frazzles.
Do you remember Tangy Toms?
Yeah. I wasn't a big one for the tomato crisps.
No. What about what were the quarterbacks ones? The Red Mill quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Hamburger flavour.
There was Ghostbusters as well, and they were like pickled onion, but they'd literally turn your fucking face inside out because they were just so strong.
Sour. Yeah, it was a real game changer when Walkers came to Ireland. I remember like every time we'd have people coming over, be like, please bring Monster Munch and Doritos, Space Raiders. We played in Reading Festival there and Leeds. Myself, Kev McGahern toured off, and Owen, and we went to Tesco in Slough the night before, and like there must have been about 5,000 people in the tent. Like your man there, Russell, not Russell Howard, Russell
Crowe.
No, not Russell Crowe from Crow's Foot. What's the guy? Russell, big hair. And he
Brand.
No, not Russell Brand. There's Russell Kane.
Yeah.
He was on before us, and I just ran out with a pack of Space Raiders and just started lobbing them into the crowd, going Space Raiders, hey! And they got a good laugh at that. And then Collie came out just throwing fucking tangerines into the crowd. But it's good time, Space Raiders.
Yeah, it must be so much better to play a festival as a comedian as opposed to a band. You can engage a bit more with the band. You're just standing there trying not to fuck it up, but as a comedian you can just do it, especially you like. You just do what you want. Yeah,
because we played Leeds on the Thursday when they were just opening up and there was no one in there. And I remember Owen was really nervous at the time, and he just burned through all of his material in about like 2 minutes. And he just looked at me and said,
right?
"Yeah." He just looked at me and goes, "What now?" And I went, "I have no fucking idea, man." But then by the time when Reading came along, then it was fucking brilliant. But like it was more so the fact that people were like, "Who the fuck are these guys?" We were giving like the opening. Like the festival hadn't even started and we're doing this tent.
Would you do more festivals? I'm surprised you didn't do all like the...
It's just getting them. You see, we don't have a booking agent, or we didn't have a booking agent. We had like Lisa, my sister, and she was handling inquiries, but we didn't have a booking agent. But like we should have. Like now, Owen is with Julian from MPI, and Julian was managing us, but then now he just looks after Owen. So I'm kind of taking care of my own things. So if you need me, hit me up, Instagram Maloney101, and all that shit. But I think we might knock it on the head, Andy, mate.
Well, thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
1 hour and 2 minutes of hard waffle. So, any shout-outs to anyone?
No.
Not even your parents?
No. Oh, yeah, no. Big up my parents. They're pretty sound. You should come down to Wexford.
Yeah, we'll do.
Hook you up.
Play some tunes down the Merry Elf.
We will do.
Yeah.
The Merry Elf. Go visit the Merry Elf if you're in Wexford. Great pub.
Great pint. Great pub. Well, Andy Wallace... You are a fucking legend, man.
Thanks very
always
much.
A pleasure.
Thank you.
He's always there for, moral support at gigs and stuff. He's a good guy. Right, well, thanks very much for listening, and, look after yourselves. Hope you enjoyed that chat. Good luck, and good bless.